Hi friends, we completed successfully the rocket revision batch. Thereafter you have taken up the mock test, and herewith the mock test 2 explanation. Mock test 1 already I have shared in the Telegram group just for practice, and mock test 2 I asked you to write it in the exam environment. Hope you have finished that yesterday, and today I am discussing the answer part related to that mock test 2. First, let's see this MCQ part. See, this is very tricky MCQs which I have created. Mainly MCQ 1 I have created purposively so that you should not be in a position to answer it that easily, because you should know the standard of the ICI for that reason. So this is purely created by me, so it is not available anywhere. So anytime for this integrated case study MCQ, the strategy should be, don't break your head in reading the question first. So the case scenario first. So try to see that MCQ. What is that MCQ? Thereafter you please check the information from the case scenario that is provided. So you should not read this case scenario because a lot of data will be there in case scenario. Not everything will be of use. So when you know what are all the MCQs, a bird's eye view of the MCQ is always must. So question number 1, what is the taxability with respect to sale of tickets by Filmfare Corporation? So we need to understand the taxability of the sale of tickets which is involved in this. Thereafter, what is the net ITC available? So related to ITC also there is something. Then what is the refund of ITC available? So whenever we analyze, so we should also remember the refund provisions. With respect to sponsorship service, determine GST payable by Filmfare Corporation. So there is some sponsorship service, so that should also be considered. What is the net GST payable? Finally, we have the net GST payable also in this. So let's focus. So therefore the areas in which we need to focus is on the taxability of the sale of tickets, then ITC, then that sponsorship services, and finally computation of net GST payable. Okay. So now what is this case scenario about? When you read the case scenario, break it into parts and try to analyze then and there. Otherwise it will be very difficult for you, because you cannot spend that much time in exam hall sitting reading the case scenario multiple times. First, Filmfare Corporation is an entertainment media company registered in Maharashtra. Done. They are known for conducting award shows in various locations in India and abroad. During December 2019, they conducted 2 award functions, the details of which is as follows. So they conducted 2 award functions in one in India, that is Hyderabad, Telangana, and the other in Dubai, and they are registered in Mumbai, Maharashtra. Okay. Now, first thing is revenue from sale of tickets. So here we need to analyze the taxability, because we have one MCQ related to taxability. So we need to analyze the taxability of this. So 10,000 tickets of 400 rupees each to audience residing in India. Out of the 10,000 tickets, 7,500 tickets to an award function in Telangana, whereas 2,500 tickets to the award function in Dubai. What is the ticket price? 400 rupees each. So now you need to know one point here. What is that? Award function, entry ticket to award function is exempted if the ticket price does not exceed 500 rupees. So therefore, in this case, this first 7,500 tickets as well as 2,500 tickets is exempted. Okay, because the price does not exceed 500. So entry to award function is exempted. Then 2,000 tickets of 1,200. So therefore it is not exempted, it will be taxable because the ticket price exceeds 500 rupees. Sold to audience residing outside India. Then 8,000 tickets of 2,400 each sold to audience residing outside India. Now we need to determine the place of supply. With respect to tickets sold to audience outside India, what should be taken as the place of supply? So where the supplier is located? Supplier is located in India, and the recipient is located outside India, so we need to take it as section 13 of IGST Act, place of supply. In case of admission to any event, the place of supply is the location where the event is held. So therefore in the first case, that is for the award function in Telangana, the place of supply is Telangana, whereas in the second place the place of supply is Dubai. But we have one point, if the event is held outside India, then location of recipient will be taken as place of supply, but that is not applicable in this case because that is in the context of section 12 only, not in the context of section 13. For section 12 only, B2B, B2C, B2C, if the event is held outside India, location of recipient should be taken, but that is not applicable here. We should take section 13, always location where the event is held, that too for organizing the event only, under 12. But under 12, for admission of the event, always it is location where the event is held. So therefore this is for entry tickets, admission to the event, the place of supply is location where the event is held, so Telangana and Dubai. In case of 2000 tickets, let's see. So location of supplier India, location of recipient outside India, place of supply is in India, so it will never become export of service, because in order to become export of service, recipient should be outside India. Here recipient is outside India, but the place of supply should also be outside India, but the place of supply is in India because event is held in India, so it will not become export of service, it is not zero rated, it will become interstate supply and chargeable to IGST. Whereas the next 8000 tickets if you take, so with respect to that 8000 tickets, location of supplier India, location of recipient outside India, and event is also held outside India, that is in Dubai. So therefore it will become export of service, but we need to know whether consideration is received in foreign exchange or not. If consideration is received in foreign exchange, that will become export of service. Done? Then Shreya Arts, an event management company registered in Karnataka, provided service by way of organizing an event for consideration. This is an inward supply, so mainly useful for input tax credit, because we have one input tax credit related point also. So 14 lakhs and 28 lakhs worth of services were received. So now in case of organizing an event, here location of supplier is in India, place of supply is also, like location of recipient is also India, Maharashtra, Filmfare Corporation Maharashtra, Shreya Arts Karnataka. So both are in India. So place of supply determined under section 12. As per 12, we need to take location B2B, so location of recipient as the place of supply. So the place of supply is Maharashtra, consequently it will become interstate supply in both the cases and IGST is paid. Okay, and can we take it as credit? Of course we can take it as credit, but that Filmfare Corporation cannot enjoy entire credit. Why Filmfare Corporation cannot enjoy entire credit? Because part of their outward supply is exempted and part is chargeable to GST. Zero rated supply or taxable, but remaining part is exempted, so they can take credit, but full credit they cannot enjoy, they need to reverse the proportionate credit. Okay, then next, A to Z Events, an event management company located in Dubai, provided service by way of organizing an event for a consideration. So supplier is located outside India, recipient is in India. What will be taken as the place of supply? Location where the event is held. So therefore in the case of 4 lakhs, event is in India, so therefore place of supply is in India, it will become import of service. Supplier outside India, recipient in India, place of supply in India, it will become import of service chargeable to GST under RCM. Okay, so therefore 4 lakhs on which we need to pay GST under RCM. With respect to 32 lakhs, supplier outside India, recipient in India, place of supply is outside India, because as per section 13, in case of organizing an event, location where the event is held is the place of supply. Here location where the event is held is outside India, so supplier is outside India, place of supply also outside India, there is no GST in that case. So on 32 lakhs, first of all we are not paying any GST. Then various actors and actresses based at Maharashtra performed classical dance in the event. So we have one exemption with respect to performance artist, that is before the audience, and in classical form it is exempted if per performance it does not exceed 1,50,000. If you see in the first case for the event in Telangana, it is 3 lakhs for 3 performances. So each performance does not exceed 1,50,000. Therefore, it is exempted. Whereas that 4 lakhs for 2 performances means per performance it is 2 lakhs, exceeds 1,50,000. Therefore, that will become taxable. And where are they located? Maharashtra. Where Filmfare Corporation is located? In Maharashtra. In case of performance artist services, we don't have any specific provision for place of supply. So we need to apply general provisions. As per the general provisions, we need to take location of recipient as the place of supply. Supplier is in Maharashtra. Recipient is also in Maharashtra. So therefore, it is intrastate supply chargeable to CGST and SGST. What? With respect to that 4 lakhs. Then Fangs Technologies Private Limited. Sir, why can't we take that as organizing an event? No. Actors and actors performance services cannot be taken as organizing an event. So therefore, that will be different. Performance artist service, we don't have any specific provision. So we need to go for general provisions, because only in 13 we have some performance artist services, but performance services will always be general provisions for the purpose of section 12. Then next, we have sponsorship services. See this, Fangs Technologies Private Limited gave money for title sponsor. So is this outward supply for Filmfare Corporation or inward supply? It's an outward supply. They are receiving money, whereas the one who is making payment is Fangs Technologies Private Limited. As the recipient is body corporate or firm, in case of sponsorship services, they will pay GST under RCM. So therefore, this 4 lakhs and 12 lakhs is taxable, but not taxable in the hands of Filmfare Corporation. Okay. Whereas Loot Academy, owned by an individual, also gave title sponsor. When the recipient is individual, in that case it will become taxable under FCM. So this 3 lakhs and 9 lakhs will be taxable in the hands of Filmfare Corporation. Then other inputs and input services received for the event from outside Maharashtra. So therefore, it will become interstate supply. So on that IGST will be paid. Now we have some additional information. All the above amounts are exclusive of GST. Rate of GST in all the above cases, wherever taxable is 9%, CGST, 9% SGST and 18% IGST. Filmfare Corporation opted not to pay IGST with respect to export of services, which means whenever there is an export of services, they are not going for payment of GST. So which means they are exporting services without payment of GST and they will be getting refund of unutilized ITC. So we have that also as one of the computation. Then amount towards tickets sold to audience outside India is received in convertible foreign exchange. Thank God it will become export of services. If that point is not given, the confusion will come, but it is treated as export of services because the consideration is in foreign exchange. Based on the above information, choose the most appropriate option of the following MCQs. Okay. So what is that? What is the taxability with respect to sale of tickets by Filmfare Corporation? So that we need to know. First, 7,500 tickets sold for award function in Hyderabad to audience residing in India, 2,500, 2,000 tickets, 8,000 tickets. So let me give you the proper explanation and then you can choose the answer there. So first, I am just explaining the answers in detail. Thereafter, I will share this PDF also with you. You can keep it for your reference. So this is part 1 MCQ, part 1, that is MCQ answers for mock test 2, okay, and I am starting with answer for the first one, that is case scenario 1, question number 1. So we need to know what is the taxability with respect to the tickets which are sold, particulars, then amount and taxability. Okay, particulars, amount and taxability. Let's see first one. So what is that? We have 2,000 tickets, no, 7,500 tickets. 7,500 tickets sold to whom? 7,500 tickets sold to audience in India, with respect to event in Telangana. Event in Telangana. So what will be the amount? So 7,500 tickets into 400 rupees per ticket, that is 30 lakhs. 30 lakhs because 400 rupees per ticket na, and it is exempted. So how we got 30 lakhs? 7,500 ticket into rupees 400, 7,500 tickets into rupees 400 per ticket. So what is the taxability? Exempted. Why it is exempted? As ticket price less than or equals to rupees 500 per person. So entry to award functions, award shows where per person does not exceed 500 is exempted due to that reason. Then second, 2,500 tickets sold to audience in India only, in India with respect to event in Dubai. Sir, in this case also whether exemption is available, because that exemption point says entry with respect to award function. Wherever the event is held, that is not relevant. Nowhere it is given that the event should be held in India. So therefore, as the ticket price does not exceed 500, it is exempted in this case also. So how much it will be? That is 10 lakhs. How we got 10 lakhs? That is 2,500 tickets into 400 rupees per ticket. So this is 7,500 into rupees 400, whereas now 10 lakhs, so that is 2,500 tickets into rupees 400. So it is also same reason exempted. Why it is exempted? As ticket price less than or equals to rupees 500 per person. See, please understand, you don't have to write all these in exam, but I am just explaining you as to how to arrive at the answer. But in exam, you don't have to do this much calculation, just rough calculation also you can do. Then with respect to number 3, that is 2,000 tickets sold to audience outside India with respect to event in Telangana. So what is that? So how many tickets? 2,000 tickets, and with respect to audience outside India, price per ticket is 1,200. So which means it comes to rupees 24 lakhs. First of all, it is not exempted. Why it is not exempted? As ticket price exceeds rupees 500 per person. So therefore it is not exempted. But we need to know the taxability. What is its taxability? First, location of supplier is in Maharashtra and location of recipient is outside India. What will be taken as the place of supply? As per section 13, POS under section 13 is location where the event is held. So location of event, that is in Telangana. So supplier India, recipient outside India, but the place of supply is in India. So therefore it will be deemed interstate supply chargeable to IGST. Deemed interstate chargeable to IGST. Why it is deemed interstate? Supplier in India, place of supply is in India, but the recipient is outside India. So definitely when the place of supply is determined under section 13, it will not become, intrastate supply, it will become deemed interstate chargeable to IGST. Under section 7, subsection 5, clause C, okay. So chargeable to IGST. Then number 4, 8,000 tickets sold to audience outside India, where with respect to with respect to event in Dubai. With respect to event in Dubai. How many tickets? 8,000 tickets, and each ticket is priced at 2,400. So that comes to 1 crore 92 lakhs. 1 crore 92 lakhs, and this 1 crore 92 lakhs, again it is not exempted. Same reason. So what is the reason? Because the ticket price does not exceed or exceeded. Ticket price exceeded, not exempted, as ticket price exceeds rupees 500 per person. So now we need to know what is the taxability. First, location of supplier. Location of supplier is Maharashtra. Then location of recipient is outside India, and even place of supply. The place of supply should be determined under section 13, which is nothing but location of event is outside India only. So then last condition, consideration is in forex. So therefore it will become export of services. Therefore export of services, and zero rated. It will become zero rated. Now if you see, what is the total value of the tickets? The total value of the tickets sold comes to 1 crore 92 lakhs plus 24 lakhs plus 10 lakhs plus 30 lakhs. That comes to 2 crore 56 lakhs. 2 crore 56 lakhs is the total sale value of the tickets. Okay, so this is the information that we have with respect to this. Now, second, what is the MCQ related to this? What is the taxability with respect to sale value of tickets? Number 1, it is exempted. Number 2 also exempted. Number 1 exempted. Number 2 exempted. Number 3 taxable interstate. Number 4 taxable zero rated. So therefore the answer for this is, so the answer is option A. The answer is option A for this question number 1. Then question number 2, what is the net ITC available to Filmfare Corporation for the month of December 2019 after reversal of ITC with respect to exempted supply? Now let's see what are their invert supplies. So what is their invert supply? Event management services. So event management services is their invert supply, correct? So 14 lakhs and 28 lakhs. So we will try to understand what is their ITC availability. So number 2, computation of ITC. Computation of ITC. So first, we have 2 events, that is event in Hyderabad, event in Telangana, whereas event in Dubai, event in Telangana and event in Dubai. With respect to both the events, there is some invert supply of organizing an event and other invert supplies. Then even actors and actors performance services are also there. So first I am taking event management services from Shreya Arts. Event management services from Shreya Arts. Event management services from Shreya Arts. So here first we need to understand location of supplier is Karnataka, because Shreya Arts is located in Karnataka. Then location of recipient is Maharashtra, and place of supply determined under section 12. That too it is B2B. So we need to take location of recipient. So Karnataka will be taken as the place of supply. So location of supplier Karnataka, location of recipient Karnataka or Maharashtra. Location of recipient is not Karnataka, location of recipient is Maharashtra. So therefore it will become interstate supply chargeable to IGST. Interstate supply chargeable to IGST. Chargeable to IGST. So therefore what is the IGST credit? Therefore IGST credit, Please check what is the value. So 14 lakhs worth of services and 28 lakh worth of services. So 14 lakhs into 18%. 14 lakhs into 18%, that comes to 2,52,000 will be taken as the IGST credit. Whereas with respect to event in Dubai, location of supplier is Karnataka, location of recipient same Maharashtra, no change. Even place of supply under section 12, it is B2B na. So under section 12, B2B will always be location of recipient, location of recipient, that is Maharashtra, location of recipient Maharashtra. So then what is this? Same sir, no change. Interstate supply chargeable to IGST. So therefore IGST credit is 28 lakhs into 18%, that is 5,04,000 is the credit with respect to this. This is event management services from Shreya Arts. Then another person is also there, event management services from A to Z events. See, this much you don't have to write. In exam, that process will go through in your mind. Okay. So event management services from A to Z events. So what is that? Location of supplier is Dubai, because A to Z events is located in Dubai. Then location of recipient is Maharashtra, and place of supply will be determined under section 13. So which will be location of event, that is in Telangana. So supplier is outside India, recipient in India, place of supply in India. So import of services hyphen IGST payable under RCM. Very important, remember, it is payable under RCM, which means we can take it as credit in the same month. So first we need to pay, but we can take it as credit. Therefore IGST credit is rupees. So how much is the services? 4 lakhs and 32 lakhs. So 4 lakhs into 18%, that equals to 72,000. Whereas here it will be location of supplier Dubai, and place of location of recipient is Maharashtra, whereas place of supply under section 13 is location of event, that is in Dubai. When both supplier and place of supply is outside India, no levy, there is no levy. So consequently GST is not paid on purchases. This is with respect to second. Then classical dance performance services, continuation to this, that is classical dance performance. So in this case it is exempted, boss. Why it is exempted? Exempted as the consideration per performance, less than or equals to rupees 1,50,000. Therefore that will be exempted. Whereas in the next case it is not exempted as consideration per performance exceeds rupees 1,50,000, because it will become 2 lakhs na, due to that reason. And in this case what will be the location of supplier? Location of supplier Maharashtra, location of recipient Maharashtra, place of supply under section 12 general provisions, that is also Maharashtra, location of recipient, and it is intrastate supply. So when it is intrastate supply, then CGST and SGST paid. So CGST paid, that is equals to 4 lakhs into 9%, 36,000. I think it is 4 lakhs only. Classical dance performances 4 lakhs. Yes. So 36,000, then SGST paid is also same 4 lakhs into 9%, that equals to 36,000. So we got CGST and SGST paid. This is with respect to classical dance performance. Then any other services? Yes, we have other inputs and input services. Other inputs and input services. See, in exam, again I am repeating, you can do rough work, okay. So 6 lakhs, this is 6 lakhs and it is received from outside the Maharashtra. So 6 lakhs into 18%, that is 1,08,000 is the IGST credit. Same way here with respect to this event, so 12 lakhs into 18%, that equals to 2,16,000, even that is also IGST credit. So now what we need to find is the net ITC available after reversal. Net ITC available after reversal. So what is the gross ITC? Gross ITC. So the gross ITC, if you see, CGST, SGST and IGST. So CGST, SGST simple, already we calculated 36,000 and 36,000. So why we need to do it this way? Because if you see in the question for MCQ2, what is the way in which it is given? They are giving CGST, SGST and IGST. So accordingly we need to calculate. So CGST credit, SGST credit 36,000, whereas IGST credit. What is the IGST credit? Multiple credits are there when you total it. That is 2,52,000 plus, then here 5,04,000 plus, here 72,000 can also be taken as credit, so far 8,28,000, then this 1,08,000 plus 2,16,000, so that comes to 11,52,000 is the IGST credit. 11,52,000 is the IGST credit. Now, in this case, how much of our outward supply is exempted and how much of our outward supply is taxable, we know, we can ascertain. Because out of the total 2 crore 56 lakhs, this 10 lakhs and 30 lakhs is exempted. So we can easily identify what is the exempted. Inward supply is for exempted and taxable. So accordingly we can do the ratio. So therefore, minus ITC with respect to exempt supply. ITC with respect to exempt supply. What is the ITC with respect to exempt supply? 36,000 into exempt supply is 40 lakhs divided by 256 lakhs. Same way, 36 into 40 divided by 256 and 11,52,000 into 40 divided by 256. 11,52,000 into 40 divided by 256. Here 40 lakhs is the first sale of tickets. See, all these services are in connection with sale of tickets only. So whenever it is in connection with sale of tickets, so then all these inward supplies are with respect to the event, with respect to sale of tickets. So then we need to take accordingly that exempted supply ratio for sale of tickets. 40 lakhs is exempted, remaining will be taxable. Even zero rated should be kept under taxable. So this way we need to do the reversal, but there will be another view also here. Sir, why are we not taking organizing that sponsorship also? Sponsorship also we should have added in the turnover now, but I am not doing it and not required also, because they are specifically asking with respect to the ITC, with respect to the inward supplies after reducing exempted supplies. See this. With respect to what is a net ITC available to Filmfare Corporation for the month of December 2019, where the event is held. And next after reversal of ITC with respect to exempted supplies. So I am taking exempted supplies only with respect to that sale of tickets. But logically speaking, even organizing sponsorship services is also there, because they are taking an outward supply called as sponsorship, that is not taken. Okay, so if that is taken, let's see what will happen. See, what is the question? What is the net ITC available to Filmfare Corporation for the month of December 2019 after reversal of ITC with respect to exempted supplies? Okay, but actually speaking here, why we should take 40 by 256? Because that is only from the sale of tickets. But there is sponsorship service. In case of sponsorship services, it is their outward supply only, na? And whenever it is their outward supply, even that should also be taken. So therefore, I am pending this. So I should not take 40 divided by 256. That is 40 divided by 256 should not be taken. Why 40 divided by 256 should not be taken? Because there is an outward supply which is called as sponsorship services. But I am not taking sponsorship services. Why? I am not doing D1 and D2 computation. I am trying to reduce it at the T1, T2, T3 stage itself. So while taking ITC itself, I know how much is my exempted supply and taxable supply. Accordingly, I am doing the proportion there itself. If I can do that, I don't have to take it as a common credit. So there is no common credit point here which I am applying. So I am taking multiplication 40 divided by 256. 40 divided by 256. Okay. Suppose if I do the D1, D2 computation, I should have done in a different way. But common credit point is not applied here. Okay. So now, look into this. 36,000 into 40 divided by 256. 5,625 will be reversed. Whereas 11,52,000 into 40 divided by 256, that is 1,80,000 reversal. So then net ITC available. Net ITC available will be 30,375, 30,375 and 11,52 minus 1,80,000, 9,72,000. So this will be the answer. So therefore, what is the answer? That is, answer is B. B, no, C. IGST 9,72, CGST, SGST. So the answer for this is C. Option C is the answer for question number 2. Then question number 3. What is the refund of ITC available to Filmfare Corporation on account of zero rated supplies, if any? So on account of zero rated supply, if any, what is the refund of ITC available? So here refund of ITC we need to calculate. So what is that? Question number 3. So this question number 2. Now we are computing the refund. What is the maximum refund? Maximum refund equals to net ITC into zero rated supply, zero rated turnover divided by adjusted total turnover. Zero rated turnover by adjusted total turnover. So what is the net ITC? The net ITC here is total. I am taking total 30,375 plus 30,375 plus 9,72,000, that is equals to 103, that is 10 lakh 32,750 into adjusted total turnover. What should be taken as the adjusted total turnover? First, zero rated turnover. What is zero rated turnover here? Only one will be zero rated turnover. So that is this 1 crore 92 lakhs alone is the zero rated turnover. 1 crore 92 lakhs is the zero rated turnover divided by adjusted total turnover. What is the formula for adjusted total turnover? Total turnover minus exempted supplies will be taken as the adjusted total turnover. So now, what is the total turnover? Let's see. Total turnover. Okay. Total turnover minus exempted turnover is known as adjusted total turnover. So total turnover equals to, So first from sale of tickets, revenue from sale of tickets, revenue from sale of tickets, revenue from sale of tickets equals to, so by selling tickets how much we have got? 2 crore 56 lakhs, 2 crore 56 lakhs. Thereafter sponsorship, we received some sponsorship money, even that is also sponsorship services. How much we received from sponsorship services? Please see, from sponsorship services if you take, so we received total, A to Z events, these are all invert supplies. Fangs Technology, 12 plus 4, 16 lakhs, 9 plus 3. So 16 plus 9 plus 3, that is 28 lakhs we have got, 28 lakhs. So this is total turnover. So 2 crore 56 lakhs plus 28 lakhs, that comes to 2 crore 84 lakhs, 2 crore 84 lakhs minus exempted supplies. Please remember, generally adjusted total turnover will be total turnover minus exempted turnover or exempted supplies. What is exempted supplies? That 40 lakhs is exempted supplies. Sale of tickets, 40 lakhs is exempted supply, but sponsorship supply covered under RCM is exempted only for the purpose of availment of ITC, but that is not exempted generally. So therefore here only exempted we need to take. So only 40 lakhs is exempted. In case of sponsorship, fully it will be taxable, but it will be taxable partly in the form of FCM, partly in the form of RCM, but that will not be treated as exempted supply generally. Exempted supply means for the purpose of payment of GST, exempted supply is only 40 lakhs. So we need to take 2 crore 44 lakhs. 2 crore 44 lakhs should be taken. So that is equals to, so 10 lakh 32,750 into 192 divided by 244, that is 8 lakh 12,656. 8,12,656. If you see here, we don't have that option. So we have 7,74,000, 10,88,000 and 9,18,000, but 8,12,655 is not there. But we don't have none of these as the answer. We don't have none of these as the answer. So the answer is given as nil. So in that case, what you will do? Suppose if you get a question like this, actually it should be 8,12,656, but that option is not there. This is the correct answer, but that option is not there. And none of these is there? No, none of these also is not there. It is nil. Nil cannot be equated to none of this. Then what they would have done? They would not have considered this sponsorship services. So without considering sponsorship services, let's see. That is, without considering sponsorship services, without considering sponsorship services, without considering sponsorship services, what will happen? So here, without considering sponsorship services, the adjusted total turnover refund equals to 10,32,750 into 1 crore 92 lakhs divided by, it will not be 2 crore 44, even the 28 lakhs you take out, so that will be 2 crore 16 lakhs, 2 crore 16 lakhs, that equals to 10 lakh 32,750 into 192 divided by 216, that is 9 lakh 18,000. 9 lakh 18,000. So 9 lakh 18,000 is there as the answer, which means they calculated it without considering this. Okay, they in the sense I only created the question. So actually what I have done, I know that the answer is 8,12,656, but I wanted to play around with that sponsorship services. So that's why I purposely gave there that way. So in exam also, so when the paper setter overlooks it, so then they may be creating. So we should not just skip the answer. 2 marks we cannot waste. So without considering any one transaction, maybe that would have been calculated, that we need to check. Okay. So this is with respect to question number 3. Then with respect to question number 4, please see what is that. With respect to sponsorship services, determine GST payable by Filmfare Corporation without adjusting any ITC. Without adjusting any ITC. Simple. So for Fangs Technologies, sponsorship services from Fangs Technologies, taxable under RCM. Sponsorship services from Fangs Technologies, that will be taxable under RCM, correct? Taxable under RCM as recipient is body corporate, Therefore, Filmfare Corporation is not liable to pay GST. On the same. Okay. Whereas next one, sponsorship services from. Who is the next one from whom the sponsorship services is received? That is Loot Academy. Individual na, from Loot Academy, taxable under FCM, as recipient is individual. Therefore, Filmfare Corporation is liable to pay GST on the same. So from Loot Academy, how much we have received? So total, both the events, 12 lakhs. So 12 lakhs into 18%, that equals to 2,16,000. So what is the option? 2,16,000 is option B. Option B will be taken as the answer for this question number 4. Then last question here, that is question number 5 for case scenario 1. What is the net GST payable by Filmfare Corporation for the month of December 2019? So while calculating the net GST payable, so it will be gross liability less ITC. So listen carefully. What is the gross liability? Gross liability. So 24 lakhs into 18% from sale of tickets. Because zero rated supply, we don't have to pay GST. So we need to pay GST only on deemed interstate supply, that is 4,32,000. Then sponsorship, this is from sale of tickets. And sponsorship will be 12 lakhs, just now calculated, 12 lakhs into 18%, 2,16,000. Sponsorship. And from this, we can reduce ITC. 4,32,000 plus 2,16,000, 6,48,000 minus ITC available. What is the ITC available? 10,32,750. This total 10,32,750. So therefore 6,48,000. So ITC available 10,32,750. So therefore it will become 0, but we have GST payable under RCM. GST payable under RCM on import of services under RCM, that is 72,000. How we get 72,000? Please see here, 4 lakhs into 18%. 4 lakhs, that is import of services. Import of services. So generally we will answer it as nil, but actually the answer is 72,000 is the net GST payable. Net GST payable 72,000. So the option is D. Option is D for this. Okay. So therefore I think question number 1 you would have written. Question number 2 option C you would have got, but 3 you would have pretty much confused, and 4 and 5 will be easy one only. So this is one very difficult question here, standard question. So it will easily take for you, for 15 to 20 minutes, because see, I am explaining and I am arriving at the answer, so that's why it is taking time for me. But for you, why you will be doing all these things in exam hall, so it will take easily 15 to 20 minutes itself, okay. And next question will be like relatively easier one. So this again same strategy, don't see this, directly go to the MCQs. In the given case, what is the amount to be paid for release of goods sought to be supplied to Mr. Lalji, and who shall make the payment? So there is some penalty here. In which of the cases listed above GST-80 cannot refuse to admit the appeal? Determine in which of the following transactions refund is available. So there is some appeal related provision, refunded, then revised invoice, then some omission of invoices in a return. So when they can incorporate those invoices. Okay, fine. So now we will see that case scenario 2. Patel Limited, registered in Delhi, is engaged in manufacturing and trading in various goods and also provision of services. It is registered under GST. It has appointed you as a consultant and has furnished the following information. They received an order from Mr. Lalji, registered in Noida, Uttar Pradesh, for supply of goods of rupees 1 lakh, taxable at the rate of 18%. Patel Limited agrees to supply the goods ex factory and has supplied goods on 3/11 and issued tax invoice on 1 lakh 18 to Lalji. Transportation of goods from Delhi to Noida is on the own vehicle of Mr. Lalji. However, during the transportation of goods, the vehicle of Mr. Lalji was stopped and checked by the proper officer, and it was found that there was no e-way bill along with tax invoice. The owner of the goods decided to pay penalty and got the goods released himself. Actually, based on this only, they have created one question MCQ as to what will be the payment that is made. So we don't have to do any valuation of goods in this case, but what we need to find is the penalty. See, whenever goods are in transit and if the proper officer stops and inspects, what will be taken as the, so this is case scenario 2, what will be taken as the penalty? What will be taken as the penalty? So that is penalty under section 129 subsection 1, penalty under section 129. So whenever proper officer intercepts the vehicle and finds that the goods are being transported without e-way bill or tax invoice, the penalty will be under section 129. And when owner is coming forward, who is the owner of the goods? So owner coming forward, owner of goods coming forward, owner of goods coming forward. So who is owner of goods? Mr. Lalji. Mr. Lalji is the owner of the goods who is coming forward. So in that case, when owner of the goods is coming forward, that is Mr. Lalji is coming forward, what will be taken as the penalty? So that is tax payable plus penalty equals to 100% of tax. If owner is not coming forward, then 50% of the value of the goods. But owner is coming forward, so 100% of tax payable. So what is the tax payable here? Tax payable is 18,000 rupees. How? 1 lakh into 18%, so 18,000 rupees as tax plus 18,000 as penalty. 18,000 as tax and 18,000 as penalty. That will be the answer for this. Then next one here. Next one. So that is the question related to that. Then see the next paragraph. Patel Limited started trading in Ayurvedic medicines from 1/7/2020 in Maharashtra and applied for registration in Maharashtra on 31/7. Already they are registered where? In Delhi. Already they are registered in Delhi. Now they are starting new business in Maharashtra and they applied for registration on 31/7. So within 30 days from the commencement of business, they made application for registration and was issued certificate of registration on 5/8. Relating to this, there is one revised tax invoice MCQ. So please have a look into revised tax invoice. What is that? Can any revised tax invoice be issued? So we have one question related to that. There we will apply. Patel Limited has made the following supplies denominated in foreign currency. So we have a question related to refunds also. Please see. Exports of taxable goods on 1/6/2020 by paying tax. GST returns were duly filed on time. However, form GST RFD1 has not been filed. So export on payment of IGST, export of goods on payment of IGST, RFD1 is not required to be filed. So for that, shipping bill needs to be filed, but they did not give information that shipping bill has been filed. See, export of taxable goods by paying tax. GST returns were duly filed on time. However, form GST RFD1 has not been filed. See, RFD1 has not been filed, but that shipping bill itself will be taken as the application for refund. The shipping bill itself will be taken as application for refund, but that shipping bill should have been filed and then only the exports can be made. And even another information is also there, the IGM, that is IM, import manifest or arrival manifest or import report, which will be filed. Same way in case of export manifest and export report or departure manifest, which is filed by the person in charge, should contain the details of the shipping bill. Okay, that is a condition, then only refund is available. Export of exempted goods were made on 15/7 under LUT, means without payment of tax. However, ITC in respect of manufacturing such goods is 50,000. Refund application is filed on 30/4/2021. What is the time limit within which the application for refund should be made? Within 2 years from the relevant date. Relevant date in case of export is, the date on which goods are exported, but it is refund of unutilized ITC. So the month, due date of filing return for that month. So 15/7 means, so definitely the due date will be 28. So within 2 years the application is filed, so that is normal. Refund is available in the second case. Third case, goods supplied to EOU and return for the month of July 2020 was filed on 28/2020. ITC in respect of such supply is 26,000 and undertaking was received from the recipient that it will not claim ITC. So recipient will not claim ITC, means supplier will claim refund. Supplier may seek refund. GST RFD1 is filed on 1/12/2020. So it is within time, within 2 years. So refund is available in third case. Fourth, supply of services outside India were made on 11/8/2020 and payment was received on 10/10/2020. Input tax credit in respect of such supply is 48,000. RFD1 is filed on 39. Again, this is also within the time limit. So all these are within 2 years from the relevant date, except for first case, because in case of first one, we don't have the proper information as to whether all the other conditions are fulfilled or not. Due to that reason, except for first one, the other 3 cases we will get refund. Then payment is received in dollars for all transactions except number 1, means we don't have proper information related to one. So except for one, other 3 cases we will get refund. Patel Limited wishes to file an appeal to GSTAT against advance order passed in their case in respect of their 6 different branches. Okay. So amount of tax or ITC, we have one provision. So whenever the amount involved in the order does not exceed 50,000, then GSTAT may refuse to admit the appeal. So in the first case, exceeds 50,000. So they will admit. second case, third case, fourth case, in all these cases, either tax or penalty, okay? Either tax exceed 50,000 or penalty exceed 50,000 or equal to 50,000, they will not refuse to admit the appeal. But if it does not exceed 50,000, when it does not exceed 50,000, when it does not exceed 50,000 means less than or equal to 50,000, they may refuse to admit. So in case of 2, 4, 5 and 6, they may refuse to admit. Whereas in the first and second case, they will not refuse to admit because it exceeds 50,000. So it does not exceed means less than or equal to. Therefore, the answer for question number 6 we discussed 7. GSTAT cannot refuse to admit the appeal. First we will try to understand GSTAT. So here for question number 6 the answer is A. Question number 6 the answer is A. Now question number 7. GSTAT may refuse to admit appeal, if tax or ITC or difference in tax or difference in ITC or fine penalty etc. does not exceed 50,000. Okay. So in case of 1 and 3, in case of 1 and 2, in case of 1 and 2, it exceeds 50,000. So GSTAT may not refuse to admit appeal. So the option for that is A. Again the answer for this is also A. Then question number 8. Determine in which of the transactions refund is available to Patel Limited except 1, 2, 3 and 4. Again the answer is A. Except with respect to 1, refund is available in all 3 cases as application for refund is made within 2 years from relevant date. In case of 1, application is shipping bill, and that shipping bill should be mentioned. Where? Should be mentioned in export manifest or export departure manifest or export report filed by person in charge. In question there is no information regarding same. So that's why the answer is A, that is with respect to 2, 3 and 4. Can any revised invoice be issued in the given scenario? Yes. So revised tax invoice, when they can give revised tax invoice? First, what is the date on which they commence business? So 1/7/2020 they commenced business and made application on 31/7/2020, application for registration. application for registration, and registration granted on 5/8/2020. Registration granted, registration certificate. Now they can give whether the application is made within 30 days. Yes, the application is made within 30 days. As the application is made within 30 days, so for this period from 1/7/2020 to 5/8/2020, revised tax invoice can be issued. Revised tax invoice can be issued. But what is the time limit? What is the time limit? Within 1 month. Within 1 month from this date. So within 1 month from this date, so that is 5/9/2020, the revised tax invoice to be issued within 1 month from the date when certificate of registration is granted. So therefore this is the answer here. Let's see. Revised tax invoice cannot be issued, false. Revised tax invoice can be issued for the supplies made between 1/7 to 31/7, false. 1/7 to 5/8. 1/7 to 5/8. Okay. So revised invoices can be issued for the supplies made between 31/7/2020 to 5/8/2020. Actually it is 1/7 here, not 31/7. It is 1/7. Sorry, it's a mistake in the question. It is 1/7 to 5/8. Further, the revised invoices can be issued for the said period till 5/9. This is the answer. C is the answer for this. Okay, C is the answer for this. 1/7 to 5/8 commenced business, because he is liable to pay GST immediately due to that reason. So extremely sorry, it should have been 1/7. It's a typo. I have given us 31/7. Then question number 10. On 24/12/2020, Patel Limited detected some omission of invoices relating to return for the period June 2020. Now, which period? June 2020. Now, when revised rectification is possible? So, return of June 2020 means what is the financial year? The financial year is 2020-21. Now, what is the time limit by which return can be rectified? So, rectification by return due date of September 2021 or date of filing annual return, whichever is earlier. But when it is identified December 2020, it is identified. Mistake identified in December 2020, which is within this time, correct? Within time limit. So rectification is possible. Okay. So that is the answer. To add such invoice in the amendment table in respect of the period June 2020 by revising the return, no. To add such invoice in the amendment table in respect of return period of September 2020, no. December 2020 itself we can do. So the answer for this is option C. Okay. So this is with respect to case scenario MCQ 2 here. Then we have the other MCQs. Question number 11. Value of goods exported as gift cannot exceed dash in a licensing year under FTP. So what is the answer for that? For question number 11, gifts cannot exceed 5 lakhs in a financial year. Okay, it's not 50 lakhs, it is 5 lakhs. So export of gift export of gift cannot exceed 5 lakhs, and if it exceeds then authorization required. So therefore the answer for that is D, none of this. We don't have 5 lakhs, so therefore that is the answer, option D. Then question number 12. Amir imported a motor car for his personal use and paid 4 lakhs as customs duty. The car is re-exported after 6 months and 17 days after use. Of course, 17 days, without use is not given. So after use and duty drawback. So DBK under section 74 subsection 2 equals to customs duty paid on import is 4 lakhs minus 4% for 3 quarters. 6 months and 17 days means 3 quarters. So therefore 4 lakhs minus 12% equals to 4 lakhs minus 12%, 3,52,000 will be taken as the answer. So what is that? Option A, 3,52,000 is the answer for that. Then question number 13. Question number 13. ABC Limited exported certain goods last year. The buyer has sent back those goods since the same were under warranty and required repairs. Export for repairs. Which of the following conditions is to be satisfied by ABC under notification 60/2008? So first, when the goods are exported, when the goods are exported, and it will be imported for what? Import for repairs, correct? Import for repairs or reprocessing. What is the time limit? Here it is, repairs is given. Repairs means what is the time limit within which it should come. The time limit, if it is for repairs, we have two things, notified and other goods. If it is notified goods, the time limit is 7 years. Other goods, it will be 3 years. And for Nepal and Bhutan, in all cases it is 10 years. This is that. Then after import, for repairs, after repairs it should be exported. That is export after repairs, re-export after repairs. And what is the time limit? 6 months plus 6 months. So what is the time limit? 6 months plus it can be extended for a further period of 6 months. And same goods, correct? Same goods, different goods should not be exported. But here please see what is happening. The re-import has to be for repairs only. Re-import has to be for repairs, yes. Goods must be re-exported after repairs, yes. Goods must be re-exported within 6 months or 1 year if time is extended. And in case goods are not repaired, new goods have to be sent by ABC within 6 months. See, first one is wrong. Why first one is wrong? Re-import can be for repairs or any other purpose. Okay. So it can be repairs. Note, it can be for other purpose. Note, import can be for reconditioning or refining or reprocessing. So how can you say that the first condition, first one is wrong? Then second one, goods must be re-exported after repairs, correct? Exported within 6 months or 1 year if time extended, perfect. In case goods are not repaired, new goods have to be sent. In that case we will not get. So only 2 and 3 are the conditions. So option C is the answer for this. Option C is the answer for this. Then question number 14. Question number 14, please see. goods belonging to importer or obtained clearance, value is 5 lakhs and duty is 11,000. While they are in transit, while they are in transport, importer finds them damaged and the residual value is 1 lakh. Then the reason for damage is seepage of seawater while they were in ship. Determine duty payable. First, in this case, section 14, as the goods are cleared, as the imported goods are cleared, after payment of duty, comma, benefit under section 13 or 22 or 23 is not available. Therefore, duty payable equals to full duty, 11,000 payable. Okay. So, nothing, no section is applicable in this case. So, the answer for that is A. Okay. No abatement, nothing, because it is after clearance. Check the question if you want. After clearance is made. Then question number 15, in case of optional accessories, it's not compulsory accessories. If it is compulsory accessories, we will take the rate applicable to the main article. But when it is optional accessories, we will take the rate applicable to that accessories, but not the rate applicable to the main product. Okay. So this is the answer for 15. In case of import of optional accessories, rate of main article is not applicable. But rate of what? Rate of that accessory should be taken. Rate of that accessory should be taken. So therefore the answer for this is C. At the rate applicable to it. Then question number 16, Messrs. Shanky Consultants, a partnership firm registered in Delhi, commenced business during financial year 1920 and rendered the following services during the year. Okay, they have obtained registration during financial year 1920 after exceeding the threshold limit for registration 20 lakhs. Super. What is the aggregate turnover of Shanky Consultants for determining the eligibility to opt for composition scheme? Super. So what should be taken as the aggregate turnover? So aggregate turnover for determining eligibility, eligibility under section 10. First, what we should do? We should take total turnover, that is security services 2 crores to registered business entities we will take. So security services we will take here. Security services we will take how much? 2 crores. Then next, manpower services 5 lakhs, auditing services 1 crore. Manpower services 5 lakhs. Then next, manpower services, thereafter auditing services 1 crore. Auditing services, that is 1 crore. Okay. Then next, see this. Shanky Consultants also paid sponsorship fees, that is inward supply. It will not come. Inward supply taxable at a seminar organized by private NGO. It is taxable under RCM, it will not come. So inward supply under RCM, so it will not come. It should not be taken. Then next, they have earned interest on fixed deposit. Interest on fixed deposit also will not come. Interest on deposits, interest income should not be taken in aggregate turnover. Okay, so not covered, specifically excluded. Specifically excluded. Then what about aggregate turnover threshold limit? See, that should be included, so don't exclude it. Don't exclude it, so therefore it is the answer. That is 3 crore 5 lakhs. 3 crore 5 lakhs is the answer. 3 crore 5 lakhs is the answer. B is the answer for this. Okay. Aggregate turnover, that is threshold limit, should be included for computing aggregate turnover. Threshold limit for registration. Threshold limit for registration should be included. Should be included for computing aggregate turnover. Okay. Then question number 17. Question number 17. Let's see what is that. Messrs. Krishna Batteries is engaged in sale of battery and inverter. A person purchases new battery in exchange of old battery and balance payment of 3,500 in money. The maximum retail price of the new battery is 15,000. Messrs. Krishna Batteries sells like kind of batteries for 14,000 without any exchange. The cost of acquisition of such battery is rupees 12,000. Recipient is eligible for full ITC, okay, and the price at which recipient subsequently sells to an unrelated buyer is 16,500. What is the assessable value in the present case? First of all, why recipient eligible for full ITC is applicable? In this case, value to be determined under rule 27. So for question number 17, value under rule 27, what should be taken? First to open market value. First to open market value. Okay. So what is that open market value? First we need to take OMV. That is the priority. First to OMV. OMV is not available because MRP cannot be taken as OMV. MRP cannot be regarded as OMV. Regarded as OMV. So it is supply made by that person on the same day. Sorry. Second, that is money received plus money value of additional consideration. Money received plus money value of additional consideration. Money value of additional consideration, that should be taken. Okay. Then third priority will be, and is this available? Money received plus money value of additional consideration. Money received 3,500 plus value of old battery. Correct. 3,500 plus value of old battery. Value of old battery. Otherwise, like kind and quality. Like kind and quality. What is that like kind and quality value here? So like kind and quality to an unrelated buyer. What is Krishna Battery sells like kind of batteries for 14,000. See, 14,000 cannot be taken as open market value because we should be taking open market value on the same day. So we should get, but they did not give on the same day. So that's why like kind and quality 14,000. Suppose if this is also not available, then cost plus 10%. Cost plus 10%. What is the cost of acquisition? Cost of acquisition is the purchase price is 12,000. So 12,000 plus 10%. 12,000 plus 10%. Now which is the correct answer? In the option, first we should take on the priority. So third one, open market value not available. Then second one, money received plus money value of consideration. So the answer for this is A. So option A is the answer. So we should take money value plus money value of additional consideration. That is a priority. If that is also not there, then we would have taken third one, then 18, last. Normal or landed value of the imported goods is 2 lakhs and the export price is 1,50,000. Assume import duty paid is 20,000. Rate of anti-dumping duty proposed is 40% of the export price. Determine the maximum anti-dumping duty. 80,000, 60,000, 35,000 and 30,000. What is the anti-dumping duty? Anti-dumping duty is dumping margin or injury margin, whichever is lower. Dumping margin or injury margin, whichever is lower should be taken. Now, what is the dumping margin? Dumping margin. What is the price at which goods are sold there minus export price? Normal value minus export price. Normal value minus export price. What is the normal value? Please check the question. Normal value is 2 lakhs and export price is 1,50,000. But normal value of the imported goods is given, so we don't have the information. Not available. Information not available. Okay. Then next, injury margin. Injury margin. What is that? So that is normal selling price. That is selling price in India. Selling price in India minus landed value. So we have landed value, correct? But we don't have selling price in India. So therefore not available. Then what we will do? It is given as 40% of the assessable value that will be taken. Therefore, anti-dumping duty equals to what is the assessable value? So 40% of the export price. So 1,50,000 into 40%. We will take that. 1,50,000 into 40%, that is 60,000. What if we have dumping margin and injury margin? We would have taken whichever is lower actual. That is the correct answer. But this is the provisional one. Generally, anti-dumping duty, until the time they fix the anti-dumping duty, they will be leaving a provisional anti-dumping duty. That provisional is 1,50,000 into 40%, 60,000. So that is the answer for B, option B. Okay, so provisional anti-dumping duty is only taken because the final anti-dumping duty is not determinable. If final anti-dumping duty is determinable, we should have taken the final anti-dumping duty. So this is the answers with respect to part 1. Thank you.